Welcome, Libra. It's your Mars in Taurus 6 week forecast for the ascendant, the sun, or the moon. From May the 18th through to June the 28th, Mars, the planet of action and drive, moves through the Earth sign of Taurus. We can talk about Mars in Taurus generally, but what will it mean for you personally? Showing on screen your event chart from a Libra perspective, the exact moment Mars arrives gives us a birth chart of the event, and all the other planetary influences feed into those upcoming weeks. I'm also going to share with you two aspects, one through the last 10 days of May, which could be challenging, and one through the last week of June, which could be absolutely amazing. By the end of the video, you'll have a clear understanding of what's in store in terms of your energy, work, relationships, and finances. So there's Mars into the sign of Taurus. The sign of Taurus is very much about foundations. It's an earth sign. It shares the Venus rulership that you have, but Venus here is more sensual, whereas yours is more about relating. So Mars is very much about desire through its rulership of Scorpio. So that Venusian Mars mix is a very evocative one. And because your ruler Venus is the most visible player in this event chart, she's going to be hugely influential over these next 6 weeks. Not least, they're in a great sextile. Now, Venus is just at the top of your chart on that 10th house cusp. It moves on Tuesday the 19th into Cancer, where it is very nurturing, but its link to Mars on that day is perfect. If we think about Venus at the top of the chart, the 10th house, it's very much where your people's skills, your diplomacy, but also your decorum can really be amplified over the following 4 weeks with Venus. But in that link with Mars, that brings a deeper desire into the equation. So whatever it is you're wanting to achieve, the mix of the passion and thrust of Mars and that more refined energy of Venus is an awesome one through this event. But we do have other energies at play, not least that we have this collective in the sign of Gemini, which is very much about being more experimental, shaking things up, but also can be rather freedom seeking. And Mars in the 8th house could show up some psychodramas over the next 6 weeks of not such the good variety. Why is that? Well, if we think Mars has moved into Taurus on the back of a new moon in Taurus, so already we've got that Taurian energy reverberating around the heavens, which has given us an appreciation of just getting that much more earthy. But for you, the 8th house represents connection, but it can represent moving connections because the 8th house can be where we're devoted and we're putting everything in, but it can be where something is transforming, not working, and then we leave. So it's a very potent part of the chart. So Mars being in this area, which can be impatient, even though Taurus energy does offset that a little bit. For you, this can be about where you connect. Now, that could be through a financial, business, entrepreneurial situation. It could be in a more intimate context. If you're in a relationship which is going well, the chances are it can get hot, hot, hot over the next 6 weeks. If you're in a relationship which is struggling somewhat, as we get to the end of May, particularly the 26th, but through the last 10 days, and with the sun moving into your sister air sign of Gemini on the 21st and linking in exact conjunction with Uranus for the first time in 78 years on the 22nd, that's in your sector of freedom. So if you're in a relationship that's really quite challenging at times, because of Pluto's square with Mars through that last 10 days, the desire to free yourself from something that just seems to be one difficult scene after another could really show up powerfully. However, Venus moving into that 10th house is going to see her align with Jupiter on the 9th of June. And when it comes to your professional situation, that can be a stunning opportunity. And I must stress that Mars, of course, is about industry. It's also about our identity. If you are someone with brilliant ideas, your determination to get a reward, the self-worth and value of Taurus with that thrust of Mars is going to be high. So that can be an exciting time for you. And towards the end of June, that amazing link is Mars getting to the end of its journey through the sign of Taurus, but linking fabulously well to Jupiter in a sextile. So if you do work for yourself, you're trying to raise your profile, you're trying to get enough money in to fund the next stage of your business expansion, your determination to do so is going to be very strong, but it's not necessarily going to be very obvious. You're going to be working in a very patient, applied way, but some kind of transformation is within your grasp. But being open to new ways of doing things is within the mix. But I think that control issues can come up through that last phase of May. I'm going to summarize each of those areas of energy, work, relationships, and finances next. But just to say, I've slashed the price of my personal horoscope reports. It's now 3 for the price of 1. The one you pay for is your life roadmap. Helps us to understand the patterns that are played out in our lives so far, get a more intimate understanding of those and how we can work with those energies better future forwards. Free, your 12 months transit forecast, and also your karmic draconic soul analysis. If you don't have your North Node in your natal chart, late in Pisces or early in Aries, the draconic chart can look very different from your nativity. It's a different way of looking at yourself and astrology. It's very profound and very eye-opening. Please see below for more. If you've yet to watch your May monthly forecast on the screen, if you've yet to watch that, Uranus solar return, the first in 78 years in the sign of Gemini, the Cassimi, that's on the screen. Like to work with me one-to-one, it'd be an absolute pleasure. Please see my testimonials below. If you've yet to sign up for your free daily written horoscope, fired to your device each morning for your early day celestial pit stop, please sign up below for that. So to summarize, when it comes to your professional situation, if you're doing something you're really invested in and enjoy, and you're working with people who also value you, you're entering a period of potentially sensational change in a positive manner. But somehow or another, you will need to be flexible. And Mars in Taurus can be a little rigid. It's a fixed sign. So do know you're going to need to flex. When it comes to your romantic situation, Neptune is still on that 7th house cusp, which could cause confusion in a tie which is not clear. However, all this 9th house energy is going to see you be a truth seeker, particularly in the last 10 days of this month. And Mars forging that square with Pluto suggests if you've just had enough of all the misunderstandings or someone trying to have leverage or being too jealous or controlling, you really might find yourself wanting to move to the door marked exit. As far as your physical energy is concerned, I think Mars in the 8th house is very much to do with our more reproductive system, to be honest. So if you're a chap like me, I've just had my bloodstone for a PSA. Maybe that's a good thing for you to do too. If you are wanting to really feel stronger in yourself, I think it's important not to be too sedentary with Mars in Taurus. And when it comes to your romantic situation, if you're single, I think you could encounter someone through a professional situation over the next few weeks, which could be very exciting. But financially, I do feel if you're really enjoying what you're doing, a big transformation is in the works. Wishing you all the best, Libra. Thank you for joining me. All and goodbye.